Hello, and welcome back to our Monetize Your Socials Bootcamp. I'm Mandy Summers, your host, and we have a jam-packed class today. I'm super excited to be here. If you missed yesterday's class, you can go ahead and come to the Summer School channel. Welcome. That's where you're at. And click on the live button. That is where you're going to find the class replays for all week. So hopefully you will be able to access those. I always say that everything that we do builds on the next thing. And so you definitely want to go back and watch so you can build a solid system from start to finish. It's so good to see you. Hi, Reiki and Resonance. Can everybody post in the comments where you're joining us from? Where are you in the world? It's always fun to see where some of our students and our new viewers are from. And I just want to welcome you and say hi. Hi, Virginia Hume. It's so good to see you here. It's awesome. I love it. Like I said, we've got a really fun class today, and I am so proud of you for coming here, for being here, for coming back. In fact, will you put a 3 in the comments if you watched yesterday and if this is day 2 for you, or will you put a 4 in the comments if you were unable to watch yesterday, but you're here today, and we're just super excited to have you. So glad that you decided to join us and show up for this class. So today we're going to be talking about the reason your socials aren't converting. And I am hoping that from this class, you are able to take away some really valuable insights that will help you start converting today. That is always my goal, is that you can take our lessons and start applying them instantly. You don't have to wait long to make sure that you're getting exactly what you are needing in your business. And so hopefully today you're going to find some really valuable tips and techniques that I use personally on my social media to inspire action. And that's really what it's about. Every time I start coaching somebody, I always am asking them, what is the next action that you're wanting your watchers to take? And where are you going to lead them next? And the perfect example is, if you are not subscribed to this channel and you're finding value in this content and some of the things that I'm producing, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. That would be amazing for me and for this channel as we're growing. But also, I'm hoping to add enough value that you truly do want to subscribe. So notice how we always want to be leading to that next action. So today we're going to be talking about that, what that will entail, and how you can take all the things that you're producing online and actually inspire action from your ideal clients. Now, how many of you, put a C in the comments if you have a crystal clear vision of who your ideal client is and what they're looking for, what they're struggling with, what they're hoping to get help with. So put a C in there. Put a H if you're like, I need help in this department. This is definitely something I need help in, because this is the first step to making sure that we're able to convert online. We have to know who we're talking to. It can't just be, out to the ether and hoping that no matter what we're posting, somebody is seeing it and it's going to be super valuable for them. We need to know who we're speaking to, because when we're speaking to everybody, we're not speaking to anyone. And so today we're going to be talking all about that. Vague messaging in our social media equals low engagement and 0 sales. So we have to get crystal clear on what it is that we're helping and what we're offering as well. The other thing that we want to inspire is we want to inspire the action takers. When I first got started online and back in 2020, and I started really thinking of like creating content, I realized that for the first, 4 to 6 months, that I was bringing people in who were brand spanking new to the space that I was helping with. And as a result, they needed a ton of nurturing, way more than somebody who comes ready to purchase. They're ready to take off. They know what they're looking for. They know that they're struggling. They already know what their pain points are. And when you can target those types of people, they're ready to take action. And that's what we're hoping for. If you're being vague in your messaging, you're going to attract a lot of people who are unable or who don't even want to take action. Um, and so just make sure that you're not speaking to everybody because you really want to connect with somebody. And when you're speaking to everybody, it's really hard. You're really not connecting with anyone. It's like you're connecting with all of it instead of helping them to see that you have something super valuable for them. Now, how many of you downloaded the homework yesterday? Put a 3 in the comments if you downloaded the homework and looked through and went through that checklist. Today, we're going to have some more homework that is going to help you in this process. It's going to be a little more intensive than yesterday. And so I want you to make sure that you get yesterday's as well as today's. And I'm going to drop a link in the description right now so that you can, if you did not get yesterday's, you can jump on and get in there. That's how you're going to get day 2's. So if you're watching this replay, you're still going to have to go in through yesterday's so you can make sure and get the checklist. Day 2 homework will come that way. Okay, I will check Reiki in Residence. I'll check to make sure that your download came through. It's looking like a few people weren't able to download it. So it should have come through an email and it was just attached directly to that email. So I'll check that as soon as we get off. Okay, so day 1, we talked all about the difference between a content consumer, a content creator, and a monetized creator. Today, we're going to talk all about how to go from a posting content creator to somebody who is converting and is able to make sales with their content online. So, the very first shift that we have to make in this process is we have to get really good at talking to that ideal client. You want to find your ideal clients that are ready to say yes. And so that's something that I'm going to give you a framework for that today. You have to start thinking through the why behind it. I want you to think about not just selling what you're like a lot of times, and this was part of my issue when I first got started. I wanted to create the content that like made sense to me. And instead, I had to understand my ideal client and know what offers they were looking for. And then that actually helps me with my messaging. So the perfect example is maybe I'd want to create a video about this camera. So this is my Canon M50. This is what I use a lot for all of my YouTube videos. Honestly, it's the best YouTube video camera there is. If you search on YouTube creators, it's affordable. In fact, I've bought 2 of these and the price every year goes up. It's like so crazy because that's how reliable this camera is. So if I was going to talk about this camera, I could just go off about, oh, I love this camera for, all these different reasons. Instead, it's like, I need to get really clear on what my ideal client is looking for. So you are my ideal client. You're here, you're listening, and you might be thinking, which camera should I be using to film my videos? And what is all the tech behind it? Like, how do I know what to get and what to be using? And so I could create something, I could create an offer that walks them through all the tech that you need in order to start your YouTube channel, to get your YouTube channel up and going. Instead of maybe like one day I want to be like, oh, do you want to see what like this amazing camera? And I love it. And not even talking about the fact that I use this for YouTube. So it's like you have to get clear on how this camera, how whatever it is that you have applies to your audience. And in fact, I have affiliate links for this. And so if I was going to do a review for this, I would actually start it out and say something, to my ideal client, like, have you been struggling to know what you should be using to film your YouTube videos. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk to you all about that. And I'm going to share my favorite gadgets that I have to help you with your YouTube journey. And a lot of people have been using their iPhone. I see that was a comment. And actually, this is my iPhone attachment that I have. It's so awesome and amazing. And I will put a link in the description for these, but this is a DJI gimbal. And so you put your phone on it, and it will stabilize as you're using it. And it also has a little kickstand down here, so you can set it, or you can take it with you and you just slide your phone right into it, and it will beautifully keep your camera stable. I love that aspect. So, and I would recommend, if you're brand new getting started, use your phone. That's and actually a lot of times what I do, I'm actually sitting right in front of a window right here, and I will take my phone and I will just set it somewhere so that I have great lighting. Even though I've got a lighting setup up here that's not on, I like the natural light a lot better. We're digressing. Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is, when you are talking to your audience, it's very important that you sell offers that people want, the your ideal clients want, that you speak to them, to all the buyers, and that you tell them why they should care about this. Like, why should they get this? Well, I'll tell you why you should get a Canon M50 instead of your phone. This thing you can turn on and you can literally film for hours on end. I actually had a Sony that after 15 minutes it would overheat, so I had to get rid of that one. It's very light, it's so portable. You can take this anywhere. It fits on a tripod. It actually works with my teleprompter as well. I love this camera. I can hold it in my hand without it like being super, super heavy. And so for creators, it's compact. So if you're going to take it somewhere, and it also will go on for hours and hours. So when I'm doing batch creation, I can turn the camera on and I can literally leave it on the entire time if I want. Or it connects to my phone and I can click record from my phone and kind of go back and forth that way. So, and just remember, like, the why behind the content that you're creating, it's all about them. It's not about you. So when you're creating this content, you have to be thinking, what can I give them that's serving them? That's not necessarily what I want to be posting. Now, of course, if you're a YouTuber who you want to do a lifestyle channel, things like that, that's a little bit more about like what you want to be posting. And 100%, there's a ton of successful channels like that. But if you're a small business owner and you're wanting to get your product in front of people, then you have to be thinking, what is it that my client wants and how does this product help them? Not how, like, not the education behind it, like, of like a lot of times what I'll see is people will just post like benefits and facts about it instead of like giving them the reason, like, why they should care about this. And then the next thing is, you have to be confident in your quest to be online. There's no room for insecurity. Like, you just need to show up letting them know that you are confident that what you have is going to help them because you've seen the results. And so get behind things that you really like. Now, there are two types of consumers. There's emotional, and the emotional consumers, they feel it deeply, and you want to create most of your content about this. The logical, they take a while because it needs to make sense to them. Like, they have to feel like this decision is making sense. And so as you're going through, you need, then this is one reason why today in your homework, I'm going to have you go through the ideal client um, uh, workshop that I have. I never know what to call this workshop. I need to come up with a better name for it, because the ideal client workshop, let's just call it that from here on out, is amazing at helping you understand the emotions behind your ideal client. How many of you have done, put an I in the comments if you've done the ideal client workshop that I have created and promoted. If not, I'm going to walk you through it right now. If we've got put a 5 if you haven't and you want me to walk you through it so you can see exactly how it's done. And I'm going to find a link to it as well because this is part of today's homework, and I'll actually email it out to you. So I'm not seeing any responses with eyes coming in. And so I am going to take just a minute and I'm going to walk you through the ideal client workshop, because this is going to revolutionize your life. So I would love for somebody to put in the comments, and I want you to put in there who your ideal client is. So maybe you've got products that are speaking to a new mom who's tired, or maybe you are somebody who is looking for middle-aged women who are struggling with hormones, or maybe you are someone who is helping people plan their travel. And so you help them have magical experiences in their travel, with their travels and their family, things like that. And so put that in the comments, and I'm going to walk you through how this ideal client is working. Yes. So this is actually Keith, the ideal client bot. And I'll be very quick with this because I know some of you have actually done this, but I do want to walk through it with a few of you who have not, so you can see. And what we're looking for in this, we want to make sure that you are tapping into that emotion. If you want to sell quickly, if you want to make sure that you're connecting more effectively, then we have to have this. Okay, so we've got women over 50 who struggle with hot flashes. Okay, let's see if I can add this into, oh, good. It's perfect right there. Okay, so I have a bunch of chat prompts that I'm going to send you for your homework for today. And we're going to put prompt 1 in here. So we're going to type it in here, and it's like, your task as a leading market research analyst with deep expertise in consumer psychology. Your goal is to create a detailed buyer avatar for the ideal client of, and we're going to put in that information right here. So I'm going to pull this one up right here. So women over 50 who struggle with hot flashes. So let me put this in. Women over 50 who struggle with hot flashes. Okay. And then we're just going to leave the rest of the prompt. This is like telling what we want it to do. Okay. So we're going to put that in there. I'll actually expand this a bit so that it's a little less. Actually, that will be a little distracting. So we'll take it back to here. Okay. So it's going to give us like an actual name of someone. So this is the dream buyer avatar. Now, what you need to do with this is you have to read through it and make sure this resonates with you. And if not, you can totally go back and adjust it. Okay. So what we're going to do is just kind of go through this. Susan Matthews, 56, female, married, 33 years, empty nester, 2 grown children. Lives in Austin, Texas. She's a high school administrator, semi-retired, part-time now, income, bachelor's degree in education, owns a 4-bedroom home. So it's telling you like a ton about this ideal client. This isn't an actual person, but this is the ideal client avatar for you. And so then it's going to go through and say the values that she has. She values wellness, natural solutions, aging gracefully, independence, self-education. She's got beliefs. So you're going to read through all of this and make sure that this resonates with you. And if not, you can, tell ChatGPT, okay, I really like all of this, but can you change? And I want her to live in San Diego, California instead, something like that. So then it's going to tell us her buying habits. She prefers research before she buys. She loves bundles, kits, and try before you buy models. So, and then brand preferences, and then usage frequency. Like, it's going to go through and give you a ton of information. So then we're going to take the next prompt and we are going to drop that in here. Okay, so right there. This prompt is going to describe the key pain points experienced by Susan. And I actually should have put Susan in here. So hopefully it's going to grab that. So yeah, women struggling with hot flashes. So hot flashes disrupt their sleep, concentration, daily comfort, often in public or at inconvenient times. They feel like strangers in their own bodies. their confidence, mood, and even their memory is slipping away. They're bombarded with miracle solutions and hormone debates, making it hard to trust what is actually safe and effective. So what we're seeing here, like when I'm reading through this, I'm seeing content ideas that are coming to me because of this. Like, hot flashes disrupting their sleep. It's like, are you waking up every night covered in sweat because of the flashes that you're experiencing? Like, you're going to call it out. And actually, I'm going to give you a framework after we're through this part that's going to kind of a step by step of how to create a post. There's 7 steps in this that you can take these pain points from. I love this. The first 5 first-person statements. I can't tell you how many times I've woken up drenched in sweat. I used to feel sharp and put together, and now I forget what I walked into the room for. I've spent hundreds of dollars on creams and supplements, even cooling pajamas. Nothing has worked. Every solution I look up either wants me to take a hormone pill or requires a PhD to understand. Like, there's so much power in this. And then we're going to take prompt 3, 4, and 5. And so I'm not going to go through this whole thing with everybody right now because we have obviously a lot of you have been through this, but what we're wanting to do is wake them up. And actually with these, you can actually use one of these 3 types in your content. And so the first one would be wake them up, get them out of autopilot. The second one would be internal urgency, where they can't not take action. It's like you have to start thinking like, how can I wake them up? Or how can I build this internal urgency? Or curiosity and desire. This gets their attention and seeds their desire. So the thing that I often think about with content is a lot of times we just want to turn the camera on and start posting. And that there's value in that because you can show the algorithm that, yes, you're posting. But it's a little bit more than just turning the camera on. Especially if you want to lead them into a sale, we have to be strategic in this process. And so we have to get to know our ideal client. And we have to decide, is this going to be an emotional post or a logical, where they're going to feel it? Or are we going to take them through logically why they need the product that you have? And then we need to start thinking with these 2 consumers, like once we decide, are we emotionally posting, logically posting? Are we waking them up emotionally? Are we internal urgency, emergency, curiosity, and desire? Or are we doing this through the logic brain? So there's a lot of things to think about. And thankfully, now we have amazing AI to help us with this. So now I'm going to walk you through the framework that this is called the turn their heads framework. And a lot of people use this. Alex Hormozy, Jasmine Star. There's a lot of people who teach this process, and that's because it works. And so this is, you want to hook them, you want them to feel it in their heart, you want to help them, and then you are hoping that you'll actually make a sale from them. And so that's the handshake part. So I'm going to walk you through this process. And like I said, before you can really go through this process and do it well, you need to go through that ideal client worksheet. So the first thing that we're going to do is talk about a bold truth, like call out the bold truth. So something like the number on your followers count isn't the reason your content isn't converting. Now, would that catch your attention? Because, and this is one that I could use today, because obviously we just solidified a 90K deal with a YouTube channel that was less than 150 subscribers. So like I actually have proof multiple times with my my clients and me personally that this is a bold truth that is actually real. And so you have to start thinking like, what is the bold truth that goes along with your ideal client? And actually, now that I'm saying this, I've actually created some prompts that I personally use, and I wonder if I should add those into the ideal client workshop. Anyways, so what is the bold truth? And you want to call that out. And actually in my notes, let me get back to my notes real quick. I have some bold truths that I thought I would help, just so I could tell you a few things so you could feel like, okay, I'm starting to understand it. The number, okay, that we did that one. The niche you picked isn't the reason no one's buying. Okay, that's a bold truth. The amount of hours you work isn't the reason you're still stuck. The content you're posting isn't the reason people aren't engaging. The platform you're using isn't the reason your business isn't growing. The time you wake up isn't the reason you're still exhausted. The supplement you stopped taking isn't the reason your energy disappeared. The launch you did last month isn't the reason no one signed up. The tech you're using isn't the reason your funnel isn't working. The email list you haven't built yet isn't the reason you're not making sales. So see how it's like you want to state a bold truth and go through and give it some emotion that goes along with that. Okay, so the bold truth, let's just go back to this one right here. Okay, then we want to validate what they've been doing that isn't working. Okay, so you're posting every day, but no one's buying. So like validate, yeah, you're posting, but nobody's buying. Like, so let's just go back to the bold truth. So the number on your followers count isn't the reason your content isn't converting. You're posting every day, but no one's buying. So see how like that like actually put a 4 in the comments if you're like, yeah, that would totally catch my attention. Put a 5 if you're like, yeah, no, that wouldn't. But it's like we're trying to catch their attention and get them to stay, especially if you're wanting more watch time on your videos. I've gone through and I've done a couple YouTube channel audits already this week. And we're definitely like with some of the people, they're starting to post consistently. So they're getting more views, they're getting more clicks, they're getting more sales, they're getting more leads, they're getting like all those things. But we're also looking at the watch time, and we want them to stay on longer, because the longer we can get people to stay on, the more likely they are to shake our hand and do business with us. And so that's why it's important to build the habit of start posting. And then it's like, let's refine that habit. And that's what we're doing in this class today. So here's a couple more ways to validate. You're using all the right hashtags, but still not getting seen. You're following the plan perfectly, but the results aren't showing up. You're doing the workouts, but your body still feels stuck. You're reading all the business books, but your bank account hasn't changed. You're journaling every morning, but you still feel anxious. Like, see how it's like you're calling out some things. What's a YouTube audit? So a YouTube audit is just where we get on a quick call, and I'll go through and just, you'll pull up your dashboard, and we will deep dive in to see, okay, what is converting, what's not, what are you getting subscribers from, what are you not? And then what you want to do is go all in on what's working. You want to find the ones that are bringing in subscribers, find the ones that are getting the most views, and then you're going to make other videos just like that. So that's what an audit is. Okay, so now that we've validated what they've been doing that isn't working, now we're going to deliver the truth that will relieve them. Did I spell that right? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Okay, you're not stuck because you're inconsistent. You're stuck because you've been focusing on the wrong thing. So see how, okay, let's go back and just do this. So the number on your followers, on your follower count isn't the reason your content isn't converting. You're posting every day, but no one's buying. You're not stuck because you're inconsistent. You're stuck because you've been focusing on the wrong thing. And I can tell you right now, just side note, as I'm like saying all of this, if you're on YouTube and you're stuck and you're not getting results, it's because you're not focusing and finding the right keywords and being like, possibly like, if you're being consistent, great, but taking those keywords beyond just putting them in the tags and the description and the title. It's like you want to put them in all the SEO metadata. You want to be promoting, you want to be doing some of those things. That's another class though, for another day. Okay, then we move into the call to action. So P.S. if you're ready to fix this, then the YouTube Growth School is where I will show you exactly how, and the price goes up at midnight. And I put a couple other ways. Feeling called to shift shift this for real? I'll walk you through it inside the YouTube Growth School. Price increases at midnight. So see how it's like you're calling them to action. This is not the end though. That's just like the first 4 steps. There's a couple more. So then we're going to take them through a logical breakdown, why their current approach isn't working. So if your message is vague, even the best reels won't convert. That's why your views can be high, but your sales can stay low. So we're going to take them through that. And then we want to give them the vision for the future. You get to be the one that shares the future with them. So when you clarify your message and build your funnel with intention, everything shifts. Your content starts pulling in the right people. You'll stop chasing engagement and you start building income. Isn't that powerful? And then you end with another strong call to action. Monetize Your Socials Academy gives you a step-by-step system to fix this for good. Doors open or close at midnight. So that is one of the frameworks that you can use when you are wanting to not just build a social media presence, but actually convert. It's like we have to be intentional with the content that we're creating so that we're speaking to the ideal client. When we start producing content and we're like, hi, everyone, welcome back. I'm so excited, which I kind of did today. Now that I'm thinking that, I try not to on my lives, but sometimes I do. Let's talk today a little bit about how to water your plants and like why that's super important, and like see how that will not keep people's attention versus coming right in and saying something like, the way your body looks isn't the reason you're not showing up. You're drinking water, you're taking supplements, you're going to bed early, but you still feel exhausted and you're not seeing movement in your body. And so see how it's like, we're going to walk them through this process. And so that is the framework. That is and we have another framework that, there's another one that we can walk through, and this one kind of activates them to buy. You know what though? I didn't do slides on this one. So we're going to skip that one for today. So, if you are wanting, let's just put this back up here and let me just go back to just a sec right here. If you're wondering why your socials aren't converting, the most likely reason is probably, well, I mean, it might be because you're not posting. So you always have to go back and you have to kind of go through this process. Like, first, am I posting consistently? If you check that off and you say yes, okay, then am I putting in all of the right, or as many as I can, the research behind it? Am I making sure that I'm calling out the pain points? Do I know who I'm talking to? Am I clear about that? Am I basically taking posts and just copying them? Like sometimes, what I have seen with a lot of my clients is they'll get into some group that's like, oh, you can buy these photos and then you can, copy these posts and paste them into your socials. Especially with ChatGPT now, like you don't need to be doing that. You can actually take the ideal client worksheet that I am going to give you today, and you can then, after it's given you all the ideal clients, you can actually put this framework into it and say, give me some good ideas on how to create content about my ideal client. In fact, that's something I probably should add into this as well, as we go through this process, because that would be really helpful. And that's something that I've been doing, but I'm like, ooh, in fact, put a yes in the comments if you're like, yeah, that would be awesome. So the number one reason why you might not be converting online is because you're not sure who you're talking to, where you're leading them, and what your offer is, and then how to show them the value in that. And that's the important thing, is instead of it being about you launching an offer, it has to be about them getting a system that they can follow that will give them success. That is what we want. We want to provide them with the success that they need. Who is your person and what do they need to hear from you? And how can you activate them? That's, to me, one of the most important things. Like, how can I activate the people that I'm most connected to? What are some of the things that they need? In fact, I'm going to open up this ideal client avatar that we just created for Sherilyn, and I'm going to say, how can I activate Susan to purchase from me? And I actually love coming in and brainstorming with ChatGPT to see. And so this is what it says. Here's how to activate Susan to purchase ethically, emotionally, and irresistibly. Start with empathy. Mirror her thoughts. If you're anything like this, you've tried da 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 da. Da. This will make her feel safe. Offer hope. So, and these are all things that like, I'm going to take the framework and I'm going to put these things into the framework. This isn't another quick fix. It's a gentle system that works with your body to help you feel like yourself again. And then another thing is we want to give her soft, risk-free next steps. So try our calm and cool starter kit for just this much money to start feeling relief within days. No auto ship, no pressure, just support you can feel. I actually really like that, how you could create like a package of a couple different products and then give it a name. You can use testimonials from people just like her. I finally slept through the night without waking up drenched. I wish I would have found this sooner. You can create gentle urgency. We only make 200 of these kits per month, so we can keep them high quality. Grab yours before this month's batch runs out. Or you could give her like an intuition nudge where it's like, you were led here for a reason. Your healing doesn't have to wait. And so going in and asking ChatGPT, like, how can I activate them to purchase will help you in that process of getting them the support that they need. A lot of times we get stuck in education mode. We get stuck in this mode of, I just need to teach. And what I want you to be thinking about is you also need to be connecting. Yes, we want to give solutions, but we want them to also feel seen. We want them to feel heard. And here's a perfect example. When I started my YouTube channel back in 2012, and I know yesterday we talked about this a little, I wanted so badly to create a channel that inspired lots of people to triathlon. That's what I created my initial channel about. And there were a lot of different things that stopped me along the way. The first one was the troll comments that were coming in. I was in the best shape of my life. And I had people that were commenting saying I was super fat. They were like, look at this, the muffin top on, because like I would like be sitting down changing like a bike tire or something. And they would be like, oh, she's got a muffin top. I was literally like 100 and nothing pounds. And that stopped me in my tracks. Then I started back up again. And then I really started feeling like, well, I am not this person, or I'm not an Olympic athlete, or it's like the comparison got me as well. And all of those things stopped me in my tracks. Instead of deciding no matter what, I was going to show up. And it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter how people come at you. And I've learned this in business now a couple times in a big way, that when you put yourself out there, you're probably going to come across people who are going to struggle with your personality, or they're going to struggle with your success. They're going to want to talk down to you. They're going to want to pull you down. They're going to want to post things that are either directly about you or cryptically about you. They're going to want to, sometimes that's just how it's going to happen. And that can't stop us. It can't. Because this message that's like deep within us, it needs to come out. Like, how many of you have ever felt like your voice is stuck, like right here? The reason why I say this is because I know how this feels. When I'm feeling like I can't speak, it's like my voice is stuck right here. Put a V in the comments if you've ever felt that. And it's like I feel tightness in my chest because I want to be able to move forward, but it's like I can't seem to get it out. And part of that is emotional, and some of that is just getting through and taking that action. Sometimes simply going through the motions imperfectly will actually get that voice to start activating again. And so if you're here and you're like, I want to get started and I really want this to be successful, I know that you're going to see that I teach a lot of different things, like keyword research, and just today it's like find your ideal client and know all these things. And I actually believe that you have it within you to handle all of these things. Sometimes it's like it's too overwhelming. There's too much tech. I have to know too many things. I believe that you have it within you because I have built my businesses and I did not have this experience before. I didn't know how to build funnels, which we're going to talk about over the next 3 days. I didn't know how to edit YouTube videos. I didn't know how to do a lot of these things, but I know that you have access to learning how to do that. And I believe that you can do that. I believe that you have it within you to do that. But what it's going to take is action. And you can't expect clients that you're hoping to have to take action if you're not willing to be taking the action. So when people are like, oh, nothing's working and it's just not going to happen. And I always start with, well, what are you doing to work right now? Have you been spending the last 3 years like building out the system that you're hoping you can start? Because I know from experience that if I build it completely first, within the first week, it's like I got to change it up. And yes, it is important. And I'm going to teach you how to build out the basics over the next couple days. You're going to leave this boot camp and you're going to have an email list and a way to capture that. You're going to have some good funnel information. In fact, let's just see here. What are some of the other we've got turn your scrolls into sales. We're going to create a funnel that pays you daily. We're going to talk tech and talk about the system that you can use to build it. And then we're going to monetize like a pro. Now, if this is where you want to get, if you want to monetize like a pro, put a pro in the comments. If this is where you're wanting to head for your future, then all of these other things, we have to create habits on how this will not be overwhelming and stopping us. And a lot of times that's what stops us is thinking, well, I don't know how to even post on social media. And I don't know how to talk to my ideal client. It's like in this boot camp, we're going to bust through those things. And so by the end of this, first of all, yesterday we created a vision. Like we went through and had the checklist so you can see like what you're going to need. Then we are going to get very clear on who we're talking to. That's today. And we're going to get clear on how to use a framework to talk to them. And now tomorrow we're going to learn how to lead people into something, because if we're figuring out like why we aren't converting, we can then now move into, okay, we're going to let that go and we're going to talk to them the right way. We're going to understand that it's a recipe, that we're going to use a framework. And it's so funny. I keep thinking the number one reason your socials aren't converting. And the first thought is because you're not posting. But that was not the point of this. And I keep thinking because you're not posting. But if you are posting and they're not converting, it's probably because your messaging is off. And we have to get crystal clear on that messaging. Where are you taking them? What's the next step? What do you want them to do in order to find success and feel like they're ready to do business with you? So we have to get clear on that. So first we have to know who we're talking to. We have to know what their pain points are. We have to know how to message correctly for them. And then we can move into the building the funnel and getting kind of over the anxiety of the tech, understanding that we need to manage that with it. I was actually thinking for one of my private clients this last week, I was like, it would probably be very beneficial for them to understand all of the things that need to be done in 1 week as a small business creator, right? So it's like, it's not just about posting. Because like first, and if you think about like posting on YouTube or Instagram, we're going to go through and we're first going to do some research and figure out what we're going to post about. Then maybe we write a script or an outline, maybe not. Maybe we just turn the camera on and talk. Then we edit, then we upload, or I would say edit, optimize with SEO and stuff. Then we upload, then we promote it. So it's not just about like uploading, posting and ghosting. That's not what this is about. We're going to post it and then we're going to promote it. And that is done through Facebook groups. That's done through texting. That's done through emails. And then, so that's just for the YouTube side. All right. Then on top of that, it's like we need to be emailing our list consistently every single week, like minimum. So email list. And that means that we need to build out a couple campaigns that we can send them on. And I'll show you how to do that in the next day or two. And we also need to be connecting with our current clients and making sure that they're being taken care of and deal with customer service stuff. And at least for me, I'm always creating. It's like I have to build that into my week. Like, what am I creating next? What's the next thing? And it could be I'm creating YouTube ads. It could be that I'm creating a new course. It could be that I'm creating kind of like a new system of some sort. But like what I always like to think like, how am I developing my business to be better, more efficient? And then, of course, you always should be adding in their personal development of some sort. And there's a lot more, but like the basics of being, basics of being a content creator every week, you should be reaching out to get brand deals to someone. If that's something that you're wanting to do. So there's a lot of things. You can't get stuck on the one thing. And a lot of times, in fact, maybe you resonate with this. We stress about posting. We finally get the post up and we're like, oh, okay, we're done. That's it. And that's just the beginning. So I hope that you come back for tomorrow. Be sure to check your email for our ideal client worksheet that I'm going to send out. I'm going to drop this link again. It's the Summer School Monetize Creator Checklist. This will get you also access to the Ideal Client Workshop. So you can sign up there and then get in there. And then I would actually love, once you get the email, and I'll check to see like some of you who may not have received it. Once you get that email, reply back and tell me what you're liking about this bootcamp. Tell me some of your favorite takeaways or put some questions in there. If anybody's got some questions, I can answer them live. And so reply back, let me know live or what you would like me to answer live, and I will totally build that into our schedule for tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow. We're going to be building out a funnel. This is where you're going to learn the basics of everything that you need to have a link to share. Everybody should have a link in bio, every single person. And so I'm going to walk you through what that link could be and kind of how to go through that process. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed today's live, and we will see you tomorrow. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. Any of the resources I mentioned today should be found in the description below. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye.